So here's the situation. My brother, 25 male, got into a relationship about 2 years ago after meeting a woman at his gym. We're going to call her Amy, 26. I never had a problem with her, but I also didn't go out of my way to see her often, so I might have missed some red flags. She got pregnant a couple of months before I did, and my brother and family were ecstatic. We aren't from a well-off family, so my brother and my parents have slowly been accumulating all the baby stuff they'll need for the past few months. Some of it was secondhand but refurbished by my brother, like a beautiful crib that he repainted and added supports to. So she had everything she would need from my brother and parents, from the crib to a nice mama-roo, diapers, and unisex clothes. Our older cousin even gave her all of her old baby stuff, a box set of baby soaps and lotions and a bathtub. Anyway, my brother was using his girlfriend's phone to set up his new one, and he saw a message pop up that said something along the lines of, "Baby, why didn't you call me earlier?" Which he asked about. A fight ensued, and basically Amy admitted that she was sleeping with her ex and had been for about a year and a half. She got hysterical and admitted that the baby wasn't my brother's and that she still wanted to be with him and wanted to raise the child with him. I don't know what happened after that, but he came to stay with me after she kicked him out, since her name was on the apartment lease. A few days later, she agreed to let him get his stuff while she was out of the house, so they didn't have to see each other. My brother got his truck and came back with all of his stuff and all of the baby stuff because he and my family had acquired most of it. He asked if I wanted it, and I agreed. I'm 23 and trying to get through college, so I didn't have a lot of spare money. I didn't have much stuff, and my family's primary focus on baby stuff went to Amy because she was further along. So I agreed to take it all since she really hadn't paid for any of it, and he wanted me to have it. Plus, it would help me tremendously. Amy's been calling me nonstop and having her friends call me to get everything back. She's been freaking out on me because, quote, she's 8 months and needs everything back right now. Amy said I stole from her and that my brother had no right to take anything from her because it was her baby stuff, not his. My brother refused to give it back and said that our family bought it for our family, so it belonged to me. She's been harassing me and getting on social media to blast me for stealing and begging for new stuff because we robbed her. Even our parents think it was an idiot move and that we should give it back and go no contact. But I need it, and my brother's bent on not returning it. Am I the idiot? She's having a baby with another man and expects to keep all the baby gifts that the brother's family provided? It was a petty move, but ultimately, you do need it too. And the brother's keeping his hard work in his family. You're not the idiot. I'm surprised at how your parents reacted, to be honest. She was trying to trap your brother with a baby she knew wasn't his. It's crazy to me your parents would support the woman who lied to their own son for 8 months of pregnancy. She's claiming you guys robbed her, but she basically scammed your whole family. Everyone's the idiot here. You can't just take gifts back. Once that stuff was given to Amy, it was hers to do what she liked. So your brother did indeed steal from her. It sucks that Amy cheated, but as the old chestnut goes, 2 wrongs don't make a right. They were gifts from family members for her brother's future child, who didn't exist. Amy didn't just deceive him about paternity, she continued cheating. His family invested scarce resources in his happiness, which Amy didn't really care about. If her brother's happy you're giving everything to his nibbling, that's where they should go. I wish I could bottle her audacity to try and trap him with a stranger's baby and then demand to keep gifts given by the family of the man she lied to. OP, block her on social media and move on with your life, and be sure to be there for your brother right now. I, 50 male, have 2 sons, Daniel 22 and Jackson 20. Of course we have our fair share of problems, but I love them both with all my heart, no matter what. Even as a child, Daniel always had a superiority complex. He always felt the need to excel at everything, except for sports due to his asthma. This year he started law school, and I'm very proud of him. Jackson, on the other hand, is just a natural. There's no other way to put it. He doesn't need to put much effort into anything, yet he still comes out on top. After graduating from high school, He started working for me at my business, which is flourishing thanks to Jack. A year ago, Jackson met his now fiancée, and we're preparing for the wedding this summer. Everyone in our family is very happy for them, except for Daniel. Daniel and Jack get along rather well. There's no feud between them, but I could always tell that Daniel had always been jealous of Jack. So I went on a business trip to New England last weekend, and of course I met up with Daniel while I was there. He was pretty cold to me the whole time, not like he usually is. After a while, I asked him what was wrong, and he told me that he hadn't taken it lightly, that my wife and I were going to pay for Jack's wedding, and we were going to help them out with buying their house as well. I was taken aback. I told him that his mother and I would do the same thing for him when it's his time to get married. Daniel told me that is disgusting, that we're paying for the wedding but not for his tuition. I told him that he decided to go to an Ivy League school and an even more expensive law school, not ours. He accused me of favoring Jack, but I was having none of it. I told Daniel that he should get past that Jack is naturally more apt to live than he is, and frankly, he should be thinking about settling down as he keeps jumping from relationship to relationship. Daniel had a lot of girlfriends, but none of them lasted longer than a half a year. He said that I've just admitted to preferring his brother. I couldn't take it anymore. I told my son to calm down, thinking about how silly he was behaving, and I'll pay for his ticket if he wanted to come down south for dinner on the weekend, and left. It was hard, but he needed to start accepting reality. He's becoming rather self-centered. I don't want to lose him, but I feel like he keeps pushing us away from him. It's not healthy. I told my sister about it, Daniel's godmother, and she thinks I'm the idiot for talking to Daniel like that. Honestly, the only thing that might have made me the idiot is that I told him Jack is simply a natural, which he might have taken the wrong way, but he needed to hear that. So am I the idiot? How is Jackson simply better at life? He's working for Daddy. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with working for a parent, especially since Jackson seems very competent, but don't disguise nepotism as being better at life. You are the idiot. Daniel got into an Ivy League college, so he's hardly a failure. Jackson gets handed a career and has his wedding and part of his home paid for, and you don't contribute towards Daniel's tuition? Are you kidding me? Seriously, also, Jackson is getting married at 20 years old, and Daniel's in law school at 22? In 3 or 4 years, Daniel will be a catch. He kind of already is, and Jackson will be a father twice over, and his brain won't even have finished developing yet. Who's the natural again? Natural at what exactly? But Jack is getting married, so clearly he's superior, because his ripe old brain of 20 decided it was time to put a ring on it after 1 year of dating. Yeah, it's amazing how backward OP has this. One kid is getting married while practically still a child and is working a nepotism job at his father's business. The other kid got into an Ivy League college and is now attending what sounds to be an elite law school, and that kid is the one that's messed up? Get a clue, man. My wife has been a stay-at-home wife since the beginning of our marriage. She got an inheritance from her grandfather a few years ago. It was about $65,000. I was super excited when I came to know about it, thinking that we'd be able to repay our previous landlord finally. However, she refused, saying it was her money gifted to her by her grandfather. She also said that it was the only money she could claim as just hers, so she wanted to keep it. I was super hurt because I'd never once told her that my earnings were mine only. I always treated it like our money. I then told her if she didn't share her inheritance, any future inheritances of mine wouldn't be shared among us either. She agreed. She then went on to buy herself a car. Fast forward to now, almost 4 years later, and my parents left me their entire assets, which comes to about $500,000. I told my wife I got an inheritance, and she seemed quite unbothered by it. She said that I could do whatever I wanted with it. So first I paid off my student loans and bought myself a nice laptop. Then I invested the rest of it. My wife asked me where I got the money to pay off my student loans and buy myself a laptop. I reminded her about my inheritance. She was surprised that my inheritance was so much and started saying that I was selfish for not having told her the exact amount. I reminded her of our agreement and said that it shouldn't matter how much inheritance I got, since we were free to do whatever we wanted with our own inheritances. I also told her that I'd have told her if she had asked me. She started crying and said that I had kept such big information away from her. She's locked herself in her room and refuses to speak to me. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. If she wanted you to share, she should have shared first. Besides, you wanted to pay bills and invest. She spent it frivolously. It's a good thing she set that precedence, because now you get to make smart decisions over your money. Everyone's the idiot here. Cheeky movements from you. You knew what you were going to inherit. Bit naughty that. She did agree with your idea. I'm sure it was great when she had all the money, but now that you've got your own, it sucks. Maybe consider counseling. You should discuss your goals for the future. You are the idiot. Sure, she said that you each get to keep your own inheritance, and in lots of places, inheritance is not a joint asset in a marriage. But I can't imagine literally keeping $500,000 for myself and from my spouse. Your wife sucks for making a stupid deal and being selfish when you had serious family debt, the elimination of which would have helped your whole family. You suck for taking advantage of the stupid deal and keeping what, to most people, is life-changing money for yourself and acting like it's no big deal. My husband's friend got married a few days ago. I couldn't go because of work, and my husband said the wedding was child-free and his family was all attending, so he asked me to take time off work and stay home with my stepson. I already said no and suggested he get a babysitter, but he said no babysitters because my stepson tends to act out with them and cause trouble, but he adores me and we both get along well. I told my husband work is important and I can't take time off. He begged and pleaded, but I said it wouldn't happen. He said fine, he'd figure it out. But the day of the wedding, I discovered that he had left my stepson home. I called his phone and he answered, telling me to miss work and just stay with my stepson. I said no, and he needed to deal with the situation he had caused. He said no. I threatened to drop his son off at the wedding, and he told me to suck it up. I got dressed and drove my stepson to the wedding. The second my husband saw us, he went off on me. I told him I was late and was about to leave. He said I couldn't leave his son there. They'd both be kicked out. But I turned around and walked out after telling him that it was his problem. I left for work, and after I got back later, he blew up at me, saying I failed to do one thing he asked and behaved pathetically. I said that he put me in this situation, and I was feeling helpless and pushed. He said that he couldn't believe that I was willing to ditch my stepson, and that I'm not stepmom material and have no sense of responsibility whatsoever. We haven't been on good terms since then, and he keeps blaming me that he had to leave the wedding and go home with his son. Oh wow, not the idiot. You know this isn't going to work out, right? He blamed you for what he did. He ditched his son without having a plan in place for somebody to watch him. You weren't going to the wedding because you had to work. If you had been able to take off work, you would have gone to the wedding, and he would have needed to find someone to watch his son. I'm assuming you married him to be his wife, not his son's stepmom. I would leave and tell him to suck it up. He just sneaky ditched his child with someone assuming they'd skip work, and you're the irresponsible person? Are you kidding me? Do not get pregnant. This is what he thinks women are for when there are kids around. He's neither husband nor father material and has no sense of responsibility toward his son and expects you to have no sense of responsibility toward you or your job. Everyone's the idiot here except for the kid. You both were horrible to him. The husband is an idiot for just leaving his son with you after he was told no numerous times. But I think you're also an idiot for using the son as a prop. You took him all the way there to drop him off? It would have been a better use of time to find a sitter last minute and deal with your husband afterward. I have no idea how old the stepson is, but that sounds super embarrassing to be dragged to a wedding and handed off like a burden to his dad, who then had to leave with him. He shouldn't be punished for what his dad did. I have not been in contact with my family for years. I cut them off when I was pregnant with my third, but our relationship has been rocky since I was like 20. The main reason is the way they treated my kids. I can handle it when it's me, but when it comes to my babies, they're all under 10 right now too. Anyways, I'm pregnant again, and well, it's another boy. He's my fourth and probably my last, LOL, and wasn't planned at all, but he's almost here, so yeah. I haven't told my family because I see no reason to. They're just going to ridicule me for having another boy, or they're going to accuse me of stealing another kid because a doctor once told me I'm infertile. Even though I live very far from my parents, I saw my sister at a grocery store. Her hair was dyed lighter and her style was different, but she looked exactly the same. I panicked and began walking away, but she saw me and immediately ran up to me. A rough breakdown of what happened. OMG, are you pregnant again? Do I know you? Girl, don't play with me right now. Leave me alone, please. Is it another boy? Do mom and dad know? She kept following me around even though I ignored all her questions. I thought I'd finally get peace once I got to my car, but no. She was still right behind me. And that's when I screamed at her, saying if you keep following me around, I will call the police. I called her a creep as well. A woman came up to us and asked me if I was okay or needed help. And at this point, my sister stormed off after calling me a witch. I thanked the lady and went on with my day. Well, not even an hour later, I got a DM on Instagram from my sister calling me a witch and an idiot for embarrassing and humiliating her. She said she was really happy to see me after years and didn't mean any harm. I asked her if mom knew about my pregnancy, and she said she told her. And I was like, well, that's exactly why I don't talk to you. So I blocked her. But I don't know. I feel bad. Like, I don't think I'm the idiot necessarily, but my friends say I'm being really harsh, and I should apologize because acting like she was a creep was childish and immature. My sister probably still thinks I'm the idiot because a mutual friend said she made a post about me on Instagram, and more people think I'm in the wrong apparently. Am I the idiot? Edit. I'm almost 33 weeks pregnant, by the way. The final straw was when my parents offered to babysit my eldest two while my husband and I were dealing with an emergency, only to find out that they made some teen girl we had never met before take care of them while they left to go to a party. My sister, this one, also used to make my kids cry because she thought it was funny. Hopefully this gives more perspective. Accuse me of stealing another kid? Excuse me, what? Not the idiot, but also, what is their issue with you having boys? Freaking weird. Sounds as if your sister is proving again why you went no contact with your family. You aren't obligated to have dealings with anyone, and your sister should have taken the hint long before it reached the confrontation at your car. Block all of them now on everything. This exchange will set you back for a bit. Having been under their spell for years, it's only natural now to start questioning yourself about whether or not it was the right thing to do or not. Don't get caught up in any more of their drama. Take control and ensure that none of them can follow any of your business on social media. You're giving your family the best chance of a healthy upbringing, and you're keeping them away from toxic individuals. You're a good mom. Don't start doubting yourself now. Please don't give them any of your energy or your power. Does anyone else think it's really strange that the sister who lives far away just happened to show up and run into OP at her grocery store? I think it's pretty clear that the sister stalked or is stalking OP, and OP should start making a record in case it continues.